I wasn't on there. Brit was signed on that one, but I got it now.
Yeah, I think I'm signed in as Grinders on this computer that I'm on right now.
Do you have it, Devin?
Yeah, I have the link. Let me
It should be live. The broadcast should be live now. So, I mean, not on the Grinders page, but for you to grab the screen.
How you doing, Dan?
I've been better.
Man, you get sick more than I do.
Okay, let me go talk shit.
Damn kids, man.
Man, there's the travel this past week that did it in. Whenever I travel, I get sick.
Too much partying, old man.
No, it's not even the partying. I think it's just to get around all these people and I get all these freaking germs and stuff. It's like airplane travel's the worst for me. It's like I almost always get sick after that.
I wonder what I'll be like after the mansion. I mean, I can't imagine the things I'm going to contract there.
A couple STDs. Don't worry about it. You'll have a good time.
You're good to go, and I'll hop out of here.
All right. Wait 1 second.
Yeah, I'm just gonna be silent out of this thing, guys, and then when you're done, I'll stop the broadcast and everything. So.
All right.
Abbreviated version.
Yeah, we'll just blast through it today.
All right. Started the live stream. So go ahead and just tell them to start.
Hey, Britt, I got to grab something I forgot real quick. So just start. I'll be back in 1 minute.
All right. Are we up live on the site yet?
Hey, Britt.
Yep.
Britt.
Yep.
Count down 30 seconds, and then you're good to go. Okay.
All right. Sounds good.
Just get started. Starting right now.
All right. Got like 10 seconds, beer.
All right.
All right, let's get going. What's up, grinders? Sorry for the delays. Welcome to another edition of the Afternoon Grind. I'm Brit Devine, here with the man with a six-pack that just can't miss right now. He is Chris Prince. You know him as Beer Makers fan. What's up, man?
Not much. Another day of baseball, so ready to do a quick abbreviated version here. Sorry for the delay, but we'll get you through, everybody.
Yeah, let's go. If you guys have any questions, don't forget to tweet them at hashtag, well, not at, but use the hashtag GrindersLive. If we have time at the end of the show, we'll hit those up. But since we're about 20 minutes behind, we're going to jump right into the games here. Let's get talking about starting pitching here tonight. On FanDuel tonight, Beer, there's one guy I really have on my target list tonight I think I'm going to be using. And his name is Garrett Richards. Are you in agreement with that? He's my top play. Who's your top play?
Yeah, I'm with you. Easy for me. He's the easy call. Head-to-head, cash games, definitely the safest option, provides the most upside. He's my number one as well. Pitching, kind of tough today. Not a lot of options that stood out. He's certainly head and shoulders above the rest in my book.
Yeah, I mean, he's just, he's been killing it lately. He's given up 2 earned runs with 30 Ks over his last 4 starts. So, he's easily my top play. Especially on FanDuel where the win's so important. You get those 4 points. He's the biggest favorite of the day. If you're not on him, there's a lot of other, everyone's priced kind of the same today. If you're not on him, who are you on today at pitching?
Again, I'm going to be using him a bunch all over my lineups. GPP option that I am liking tonight is McHugh from Houston. The strikeout upside is what intrigues me. Probably more of a tournament play. Just because he has the ability to get blown up, obviously. Atlanta's got a pretty good offense. That being said, they do strike out a bunch. He's at home against a struggling Alex Wood. So at 7,100, again, I like his upside. Has pitched very well this year. Looking through his games, seems to be in that 6-7 strikeout range. Approached 10 a couple times. So he's certainly a tournament option that I'm liking tonight. Again, Richards, head and shoulder above everybody. He's an option. I think Corey Kluber is another option in tournament play just because of that strikeout upside. But I'm going to be using a lot of McHugh tonight in my GPPs.
Yeah, I'm not as high on Kluber tonight. He's been a little off. The D-backs don't K a ton. They're at home, especially on a single-pitcher site like FanDuel. I like to kind of pick pitchers that are pitching at home. It's obvious, like with Steven Strasburg, he just blows up on the road and he's really good at home. I've been applying that lately to some of my other teams, and it's been working pretty good. So I'm trying to avoid starting pitching on the road on the single pitcher site. What is your, give me a quick thought about that.
I mean, it all depends on the matchup. So, I mean, Kluber definitely at Arizona is not ideal. Again, that would be a tournament upside play for me. I think more people gravitate towards other people, so I tend to go to the guys that aren't going to be as highly owned. I think that's the way you win tournaments. So he's in that boat for me. But I don't stay away from them just because they're on the road. I think sometimes the matchup is so good that you need to look at them and not just cross them off the list. So tonight that puts Kluber in that boat for you. Are you in the same boat with Sanchez then at Texas? Kind of the similar story with Kluber. Not an ideal matchup, but Sanchez has been pitching well. So you avoiding him as well?
Yeah, I mean, especially on FanDuel, I might use them some other places on two-pitcher sites. On the single-pitcher site, I'm really trying to, I've been trying to hit the guys at home with good matchups. And Richards, for $800 less than Anibal Sanchez, is kind of a no-brainer to me. But Anibal's been pitching great. Texas isn't doing much. He's really bounced back. He was hurt for a while. He's bounced back against that. And earlier in the season, not too long ago, he went 7 innings pitched with 5 Ks versus Texas not too long ago. He's a minus 145 favorite. The only thing that does scare me away, the over-under is 9. So even though I think a lot of those runs are going to come from Detroit, I do think Vegas kind of factors in Texas is going to get a couple knocks. So that has me off Annabelle on a site like FanDuel tonight. But he will be in multi-pitcher sites. I think I will be working, Annabelle and the next guy I want to talk about, Iwakuma, into my lineups tonight. This Boston team just can't hit. Their outfield is horrible. Iwakuma, he's basically a lock to go 7 innings, which, you get those, extra points for innings, where some of the guys below him, we're going to talk about in a second, might not get them. What do you think of Iwakuma against Boston tonight?
I do like him as well. If I'm not going Richards for whatever reason, I think Iwakuma is probably your next best option in the cash game format. Again, I think Boston, a lot of big names in that lineup, but guys that aren't really hitting this year. Ortiz is not the same. Pedroia is not the same. So the offense isn't as scary as it was in the past, or as scary as it may look on paper. Iwakuma's been a guy that's been very solid at home, so I do like his matchup tonight. Again, a guy that seems to get 6-7 strikeouts. Should be in a good spot to get a win. Buchholz has been absolutely garbage this year, so I could see Seattle getting to him, giving Iwakuma some run support, and putting some runs up, putting him in a good spot to get that win. To go with 6-7 strikeouts, you're looking at a high teen performance out of 8,200. I'll take it. So he is on the radar for me as well.
Yeah, the Seattle bats have really started to pick it up. I think he's, Vegas has him as a minus 135 favorite. The over-under 7, so it's pretty low. I think he's even more of a favorite than that tonight with how Seattle's been hitting. I love me some Iwakuma tonight. Let's talk about another couple guys real quick. There's a lot of people all priced in the same range on FanDuel tonight. We got Shields at 8,100. Latos at 7,600 versus the Cubs. They're horrible versus right-handers. And then there's a bunch of guys below them, just a couple $100 down. So, break down, this group of 5 or 6 pitchers here for us.
Honestly, I don't like them all, and I can nitpick why. Shields, to me, is overpriced. He hasn't been doing much of late. He is a guy with strikeout upside, but 8 looks to be his highest that he's hit recently. Last couple starts, he's given up 19 hits, and that's against the White Sox. In Seattle, the Dodgers obviously a much better offense than that, so he's somebody that I think 8,100 is too much. I'd much rather go Iwakuma or go down to Richard. So I am off Shields tonight. Latos has not impressed me since his return. Yes, the Cubs are not a very good offense, but we've seen the Cubs put up some big numbers, so he's another guy I'm staying away from. And not much in that range. You mentioned there's a lot of guys in that range, but I can sit here and pick apart why I don't like him. Wheeler against A's, I don't like that. Henderson Alvarez maybe at Philly, not the greatest ballpark factor for him. Definitely hitter's park. Philly has a few dangerous bats in that lineup. A.J. Burnett, sure, there's strikeout upside, but again, I'd rather go with a guy like McHugh at home against Atlanta. I mean, Alex Wood, Dan Heron, Kuroda. To me, it's a wasteland of pitchers that I'm not going near. I'm staying with the 2 guys that I'm going to trust is Richards, Iwakuma, and then McHugh for tournaments.
Yeah, I'm with you on all these. Alvarez, he's much better at home. Earlier this season, he gave up 12 hits in 6 innings to the Phillies in Philadelphia. So I'm going to be away from Henderson Alvarez. I think a lot of people think he's kind of this sexy pick. He's been good lately, but a lot of that's at home. I'm staying away from him on the road. Wheeler against the A's. Cologne almost shut him out last night. Is Wheeler going to do it again? I think it's pretty hard to hold down that A's offense for too long. One guy you didn't hit on that's kind of on my radar tonight is Alex Wood. Coming off, he's probably only going to pitch 6 innings, 7 if he's, just lighting it up, and no one's hitting him. But against Houston, who likes to strike out, do you have any interest in Alex Wood at all tonight?
I don't. I actually like some Astros bats. I think he's overpriced as well. 7,200. They have a few guys in that lineup that hit lefties well. He hasn't been. He's been hurt, so he's coming back off of that. But I haven't seen much from him this season that would make me want to roster him. I get it. The Astros do strike out a lot, but them at home, that's a scary proposition for me. I'm staying away from Wood.
Speaking of guys you haven't seen much of this season because they've been injured, we got Clay Buchholz coming back tonight versus Seattle. Any interest there?
Zero. No.
Yep.
He's been bad. I mean, he was good last year, the year before. I forget exactly when he was pitching very well. This year, I know he's coming off an injury, but earlier in the year, absolutely terrible. A guy coming off an injury, going to Seattle, who's been hitting well. I don't like that matchup for him at all.
And we got a couple more cheap guys down at the bottom here. We got Dollar Man, Brad Mills. He was bought for $1. He's in New York. They lit up Kazmir last night, another lefty. Any interest in Mills tonight, who did decent in his first start?
The only thing is, how many innings is he going to go? That's the question. I mean, he only went 4 innings, I believe, in his first start. So does he go 5? Does he go 6? Those innings add up. And is he a huge strikeout guy? I don't know. You got to like the matchup. In a tournament, I think both Mills and Pino from Minnesota have to be on your radar. 4,600 for Mills, only 3,000 for Johan Pino, who looked very good in his first start. Gets an Angels team again, looks better on paper than they've been performing. So if I'm choosing between those two, I'd probably go Pino, A, for the savings, B, I know he'll probably go a little bit further in the game. I'm not opposed to Mills in a tournament, though, but neither really jump off the page as surefire options, but that's what you get down at the bottom. It's no sure thing, but again, Pino over Mills for me.
Yeah, both those guys are strictly GPP only. Mills at max, he's probably going to go 5. I don't even really see him going 6 innings. So maybe he can squeak in 5 and possibly get a win if Oakland hits against Wheeler. Both those guys, GPP only. I'm going to be sticking up top. I think, just to recap in case you guys missed the first part of the show, me and Beer, we both like Garrett Richards as our top play of the night. We like Iwakuma as well. We both liked him. Beer liked Kluber. I'm a little off Kluber just because he's on the road in Arizona. And Anibal Sanchez possibly against Texas. Probably not on FanDuel, but on multi-pitcher sites. I love me some Anibal. Is that about wrap-up pitching?
Colin McHugh in the tournaments. I like his upside a lot against Atlanta's striking out bats they have there. So, again, a guy that could get blown up, sure, but, again, his upside is worth it in the tournament.
Yeah, let me just quick on McHugh. He's home versus Atlanta. Atlanta loves the K, so I could definitely I see that pick. I'm not, I'm big on Richards tonight, so I'm not going to have much McHugh, but I'm not going to argue with it. I kind of like that play. Let's move on to catcher. We're going to kind of blast through this, guys, due to technical difficulties here. My top play at catcher pretty much is going to be at every position today is going to be every Detroit Tiger going against Saunders tonight. V-Mart's my top play. He's mashing. He gets a big park bump against probably one of the worst pitchers going tonight. What do you think about V-Mart? And then give me some other plays you got for me at catcher.
Yeah, I'm with you. You got to like the Tigers in a great spot. A lot of good BVP against Saunders. Saunders is a guy that we know from the past we like to stack up against. So I do like V-Mart. If you can get him in, he's going to cost you. It's not cheap. So he is certainly in play. Mesoraco's been on fire, but his price is starting to go up. So I do like
the home run every single game.
And nothing wrong with that. That's what we like, riding the dong train. So he's in play for me. And a couple cheaper guys. Sal Perez has been on fire. He's actually hit righties well. He's generally known as a guy that hits lefties well. But he's been playing very well of late. John Jaso is certainly in play against Wheeler. And then Brian McCann's only $3K. So if you need a little salary relief, he gives you that power upside that I look for in a cheaper catcher play.
Yeah, I've been riding the salty train since he's come back. He's still only 2,700 on FanDuel. He's got Burnett tonight, who's starting to turn it around, but is he really all the way back? I'm not sure. Salty likes to hit from the left side. He'll get the lefty-righty matchup. So I like Salty if you're looking to save some money. And Navarro, he hit a home run last night. He's 2,600. He's going up against Kuroda tonight at home in Toronto. Any interest in those guys if you're looking to save a couple dollars?
Yeah, I like Salty. He's been a value play for me for a while. I had a little chuckle here when he said you ride the Salty train, but I'll leave that alone. We'll keep the show.
I see where you're going.
We'll keep it PG for everybody out there. But no, he's been a great value play. So can't argue with that at all. 2,700 is his tag tonight, so I do like him. Ruiz is another guy down there that I've been using a lot. And Stephen Vogt, if he's in the lineup again, I haven't seen the lineup yet, so he's been playing well for the A's.
Yeah, so, looks like chat just gave us some bad news. I'm not sure if it's true yet. I'm bringing up the lineups page, but Perez and McCann, neither one of those guys are in the lineup right now.
All right. Well, my apologies on that, but again, I think Victor Martinez, and if you can get him in, close to a must-play. Thought about including him in today's six-pack, but wanted to give a few cheaper options. 4,500, a lot to spend on catcher, but I think you can make it work with some of the cheaper pitching options tonight.
Yeah, so I think that wraps it up at catcher. I really like VMart. I'm going to be trying to get him in if I can't. The salty train, choo-choo, I might be on that again tonight. First base, there's a lot of options. There always is at first base tonight. Top of the list, I started at catcher with VMart, is going to be Miggy versus Saunders. He gets the park bump, the pitcher bump. Everything's going for him tonight. What do you think about Miggy, and then who else are you liking at first base? I know I think you got a couple beasts of the night in there. Maybe not beasts, six-pack plays.
Yeah, in the six-pack, I'll get to that in a second. Miggy is obviously right there at the top of the list again. Can you make it work? Can you make it fit? Could be tough to get all these Tiger bats in there, but against Saunders, he's certainly got to be in the argument for top play. First base is a position that's always loaded. Tonight, it seems to be extra loaded. I wrote down a list. There's probably 10, 15 guys that I would be comfortable playing. So there's a good range of guys, though. So Miggy, down to the Abreu area, Teixeira, Moss, Rizzo. But a guy that I'm really high on, I'm not going to just sit here and give you 1,000 names. That's too easy. But Steve Pearce from Baltimore, included him in the six-pack. Mentioned him in yesterday's six-pack as a guy I was high on. Today, wanted to spotlight him. But this guy's been on fire, and Hector Noesi has really struggled with right-handed bats. So at 3,200, I think he provides a lot of value. I think people will be looking at all the other big-name first basemen, even on his own team. You got Chris Davis there, so who I do like tonight as well. But Pearce at 3,200, ton of value there, on fire. He's going to be a guy I'm using a lot tonight.
Yeah, I was going to counter your Pierce with Davis with Crush at 3,600 versus Noesi, and Crush has made a living on his career crushing bad right-handed pitching, and that's exactly what Noesi is. And he's, this Crush was $5,000 or more last year. He's 3,600 right now. He's been slumping. I could certainly see him having a good game tonight. At first base, a couple other picks I like. Votto, Edwin Jackson. I like a lot of these Reds lefties versus Edwin tonight. He's not the greatest pitcher in the world. And if you're not on Richards like me and BRR, if you're looking to save some cash, we got Joe Mauer at 2,500 down at the bottom there. What do you think about using Mauer against Richards if you're not on him?
I love Richards, so it's hard to pull the trigger, but you got to like the price tag. I mean, Mauer's a guy very safe in cash games, seems to always get a few points at least. The power really hasn't shown this year, so I'm not personally on him. There's a couple guys that I like a little bit more down there. For value train, Logan Morrison at 2,300 against Buchholz. Brought up Buchholz earlier. Morrison's a guy we've seen some huge games, had a double dong the other night. Has a couple home runs since coming back. He's an option at 2,300. C.J. Cron has been playing well. If he's in the lineup tonight, I do like him against Pino. And Adam Dunn, always a tournament option for me because of that power. 3,000 is his tag tonight.
And don't let Boggs hear you say Logan Morrison. He will hunt you down if you say his name. So good thing you're on the show tonight. I like your Pierce pick in the six-pack. Open up his game log, and this dude has just been raking. He hit the home run last night. I think he hit a home run. He had a lot of points. Yeah, he hit the home run. And, he's been very consistent, and it's very consistent high point totals, So I like him at 3,200. And I don't think you're going to see many people on him tonight. They're going to be going Miggy and Crush and some of these other guys at first base. And Pierce has really been producing the 2-hole for the Orioles, so I like that pick. Let's move on to second base. We got your beast of the night here. Why don't you break it down for us there?
Ian Kinsler, again, we've been picking on Saunders, and this is probably my favorite play from the whole team. Again, a lot of people will be on Miggy, be on V-Mart. Kinsler, 3,900, has been red hot. Has owned Saunders in his career, 12 for 36, 4 home runs. So he's dominated him, has always hit lefties well. 3,900 again, he's under 4K. Should be a big offensive performance from the Tigers. I love me some Kinsler tonight and hoping to keep this train rolling. So he's my top play. I think you can make an argument for Altuve against a lefty. He's been lights out. Cano's been very good this season. So at second base, I think, is a position that you need to spend, but we can look at some value options as well.
Yeah, I think at 3,900 for Kinsler, I'm certainly going to be playing him over the guys priced above him on FanDuel, Gordon, Cano, and Altuve. Kinsler is a little cheaper, and I would definitely be targeting him. I don't mind a lot of these Phillies lefties versus Henderson Alvarez tonight on the road. I think the Phillies lefties could be in for a big night. So I like Utley. I also like Howie Kendrick, 3,200 versus Pino for the Angels. Kipnis too. I like a lot of these Cleveland lefties. They're it's really hard to get through that lineup without giving up some runs. So a lot of these Cleveland lefties versus Anderson in Arizona I like. And then you got a couple cheaper guys, and Gordon Beckham and Derek Dietrich I like too. They're also on my radar.
I swear you're looking at my notes here, because I was just about to say mid-range plays, love Kendrick and Kipnis. Cheapies, look at Beckham and Dietrich. So looks like we're both on the same page there. Again, if you can't find a way to fit Kinsler, he's my top play by far on the night, so I will work him into as many lineups as I can. But if you want to go contrarian, again, I think spending up on Altuve could be contrarian, because most people are going to look to Kinsler tonight. It'll be very popular. But again, those mid-range plays, I agree 100%. Kipnis, probably the highest upside out of all of them playing in Arizona against this right-hander who I think has been a little bit of smoke and mirrors so far. So could catch up to him tonight against the Indians.
Yeah, there's nothing really at bottom of the basement, kind of like at first base where you got Logan Morrison and Joe Mauer down there cheap. There's nothing really below this 2,900 at Dietrich that I can find at second base. So I'm with you. I love me some Ian Kinsler tonight, and all those other guys we mentioned are certainly going to be making way into my lineups around the industry tonight. Let's move on to third base. There's not too many guys here I'm really in love in today. We had, I think, Kyle Seager. Wasn't he your beast of the night yesterday?
He was.
So, I got him as my top play against Buchholz coming back at third base. I'm loving him tonight, and I know you got another guy that you're really into tonight. So why don't you introduce Mr. David Wright to us?
Yeah, Wright. I like Seager as well. He's probably my 1B. If you need a little bit of savings, I don't have a huge discrepancy between the two of them. I'm high on both of them tonight, but there could be some rain in New York. And speaking of rain, there's rain everywhere. We'll try to cover it here towards the end, but it looks like a lot of different issues with the weather. But if that game goes, I love David Wright against a lefty. Has made a career of hitting lefties. The numbers are off the charts this season. In over 10, 11 years. This guy's done it day in, day out. Red hot right now, so I'm willing to pay up for Wright if I can fit him. If not, Kyle Seager, again, a great option. I am very high on him again tonight.
Yeah. Don't forget, Grinders, tweet hashtag GrindersLive if you have any questions. We're flying through this due to the difficulties we had earlier in the session. I think we're going to have some time for questions, so start firing those off on Twitter, and we'll get to those at the end of the show. Any other third baseman you like tonight? I mentioned I like the Cleveland lefties. Chisenhall, he's kind of cooled down a little bit. His price has come down a little bit at 3,700. I don't mind him too much tonight. I like these White Sox. Gillespie, Ubaldo, he just can't, he's going to walk the entire White Sox team. They're all going to get on base, and then they're all going to get runs. I just see, Ubaldo has no control. He's lost it. I really like the White Sox as kind of some sneaky plays that you might not see too much tonight. And Cody Ash at 2,900 versus Alvarez. I mentioned with Utley how I like a lot of these Phillies lefties. I like Ash at 2,900 if you're trying to save a couple bucks. Anyone else at third base you're on to tonight?
Yeah, your great minds think alike here. I love them Cleveland guys. Again, I think the prices come down on Chisenhall. You got to love the power there, the park factor. Definitely in his favor. Santana has been red hot, so look at him as well. Gillespie is a great cash game play. The upside really isn't there. More of a singles, doubles hitter, but always seems to put up points, so I do like him. Cheaper options, you mentioned Ash. I do like him. Castellanos could be an option. I think a lot of people will avoid him because of his goose egg yesterday, but against a lefty, he's in play. And then Matt Dominguez is somebody I like a lot tonight in a tournament. Huge upside, power against lefties. Again, I'm not on wood. I think the Astros can put up some runs. Dominguez is probably my favorite cheap play at the position tonight.
When you think about Manny Machado, 2,300, he's starting to get some hits. The power's not there. And the pitcher he's going up against just doesn't really, he lets right-handers hit him pretty good. So what would you think about Machado down there at 2,300?
Great value. Again, I'm going Dominguez over Machado if I got to choose, but in a cash game setting, I'd probably choose Machado. A little bit more safer, tends to get a little bit more hits, not as boom-bust as Dominguez. You got to like the price, and Noisi's been terrible this year, especially against righties. Again, I'm targeting Pierce. Hardy, I'm going to go back to that well. We'll go to shortstops next, but I do like him. I think Machado falls in that same boat.
Yeah, I mean, I wish he was batting higher, but with the way Pierce is hitting, you can't move. You can't swap him and Machado. So Machado's down there around 7th or something like that. So at 2,300, if you're trying to save some bucks, I don't mind him way down there. It looks like he is in the lineup right now, from what I can tell. At batting
he's
7th.
in there in 7th. So again, 2,300. He does provide some upside. You don't expect a lot when you're getting that. So a guy like him, the upside's much higher than your typical $2,200-$2,300 player.
Let's that kind of wraps up third base. Let's move on to shortstop here, Beer. You got a player in your six-pack here who's, he's going to be, we're right on board with, our top shortstop of the night tonight. So why don't you go and talk about your boy Jose Reyes tonight?
Yeah, I had to include him. I think the price is too low, and it's probably, he hasn't really done much. Looking at his game logs the last 10 games, nothing really there that stands out, but a guy that gives you a little bit of power, some speed. When he gets on, he's going to steal, he's going to score some runs. Again, a guy that scores in a variety of ways is what I look for. And he certainly fits that bill. So at 3,500, easy to fit in. If you didn't want to go with him, I have another guy right there as dribble, whatever people want to call him. I have him right there with Reyes as well as a kind of a 1B. So if you wanted to fade Reyes, the popular play, I don't think as many people will be on Cabrera. I'm with you on these Cleveland left-handed bats. I like them a lot tonight.
Yeah, I got one guy who's definitely underpriced to me at shortstop. I will say I was looking up some stolen base stuff in Kuroda versus McCann I was looking at, but those two are a pretty decent combo. I'm not sure who Cervelli. I'm not really sure how he is as a defensive catcher for speed, but Kuroda isn't, it's not that easy to steal bases off of him, so I'm going to knock Reyes down a little bit for stolen bases tonight. But the run potential, he has power. I see a lot of runs in that game, so he's still my top shortstop, even though the stolen base potential might not be there. Alexi Ramirez at 2,800. He's just way too cheap. He was very consistent, getting 1 or 2 points, and now he had a big game last night. He's starting to pick it up. What do you think about him tonight versus Ubaldo? I like all these White Sox tonight to have a good game. Ubaldo's going to walk 4 or 5 of these guys, and they're just going to kind of slap the ball, around against them. I don't know if you're going to say anything about that too, like you did with the salty train earlier. So.
I'll leave you alone.
Yeah, tell me what you think about Ramirez tonight.
I'm not on Alexi. He's a guy that's very streaky, and right now he's really not getting it done. I think he got an RBI the other night. Said it was his first RBI in like a month or something. So when he was hot, I was on him then. The price got too high, kind of priced him out for me. Now that he's gotten cold, similar to Hardy, there's certain guys in the league, at least in my experience, when they're hot, Justin Upton, Nelson Cruz fall into this category for me, Adam Dunn, that's when you want to be on them, and Alexi Ramirez right now just doesn't do it for me. I'd much rather spend up on a Reyes, on a Cabrera, or go down cheaper. I like J.J. Hardy. I mentioned him earlier. He's hitting 6 tonight. Again, Noisi, big-time struggles against righties. I don't think many people will be on Hardy, again, based on his struggles. the old "what have you done for me lately" factor. So he's a guy like Zach Cozart, minimum salary or close to it. He's an option. And Brad Miller's starting to heat up again. He was red hot to start the season. Again, I think Seattle could be a sneaky way to go. Buchholz has been awful. I like Brad Miller tonight at a cheap price as well.
Yeah, I had Miller in there too. That whole Seattle team starting to play. Another guy that's 27 on FanDuel. I mentioned I like these Phillies lefties. Jimmy Rollins is leading off tonight against Alvarez, and I'm not buying into Alvarez tonight at all on the road. So I think Rollins is also in play at 2,700. Anyone else you want to mention at shortstop tonight?
There's been a lot of Jimmy Rollins questions in the chat, so I'll give a quick feedback on him. I'm not on him tonight, but he does have upside. Power's there, hits lead off. I think Henderson Alvarez goes in there and throws a pretty good game, so I'm not on Rollins personally. Maybe you like him a little bit more than me, but he's been brought up in the chat a few times, so thought I'd give a quick thing on him. Not for me. Some other cheaper options I prefer. What are your quick thoughts on Rollins?
Yeah, I think I just said that I like Jimmy Rollins. I like all these Philly lefties. It seems like you're a believer in Alvarez tonight, and I am not a believer in him going on the road in Philly. Philly lit him up earlier this year to the tune of 12 hits in 6 innings, and I can see that happening again tonight. He doesn't seem to be the same pitcher on the road. So I'm all aboard all these Philly lefties tonight.
There you go.
So let's move on to we were on shortstop. Let's move on to outfield here. And as usual, there's a long list of players at outfield we like. Mike Trout's always the top play at 5,600. The question is, can you fit him in there? I think it's possible tonight with some of the, there's no $11,000 pitcher you're going to be using tonight. So Trout is in play tonight for me at 5,600. You got a couple people in your six-pack here in the outfield. So why don't you spout those off? And then we'll get into some of these other picks here.
Yeah, I'll start with the six-pack guys I like. Dexter Fowler is a guy I like a lot tonight. Again, Alex Wood, you like him tonight. I am completely off of that thing, so hopefully it doesn't blow up in my face. He is a guy that's shown some ability in the past, but Fowler's always the guy that's hit lefties well. Again, I like this Astros lineup. They're sneaky. They're not big names, but they're starting to come around. Fowler, similar to Reyes, gets on base, can steal, can score runs, gives you power, and is a much better hitter from the right side of the plate. So very high on him tonight. I don't think he'll be very highly owned. So he's somebody that I'm going to have in a lot of lineups tonight. The other guy, Jay Bruce. It's all about the power with Jay Bruce. Again, another guy, when he's hot, he's somebody to target. Right now he's in a good streak. He's hitting 6 tonight, so I don't like seeing that. But I do like the matchup against Jackson. Seems to play well at Wrigley. So Jay Bruce, another guy in that $3,500, $3,600 range that I like. And Alex Gordon is one more. Didn't make the six-pack today, but was probably number 7 if I had to pick another outfielder. I like him a bunch as well.
Yeah, some of the, I really like, we didn't mention him at first base, but I like, was Mark Teixeira. But I like a lot of these Yankees lefties tonight between Ellsbury and Gardner. Looks like it's pretty easy to steal off Hutchinson and Navarro. So there's some stolen base upside, that you wouldn't get if they were facing a lefty tonight. And that game's got a 9 over under 2, so there's going to be some runs in that game. What do you think about the Baltimore outfield between Cruz and Jones tonight versus Nuesi? They're a little expensive, 4,400, 4,300. They're on my radar. Are you going to be targeting them at all?
Yeah, Jones probably more than Cruz. Cruz he's had good numbers against righties. Again, Nuesi, big-time struggles. I think he's in for a bad outing tonight. I'll keep it PG again. But Jones, if I'm going between Jones and Cruz, definitely Jones for me. I agree with your Yankees call. Gardner's been playing very well, a guy I've been using a lot. Stolen bases, has shown some power and gets a good ballpark there. There should be a lot of runs in that game. Hutchinson was good earlier in the year, has struggled recently. I like Gardner hitting the top of that lineup. Ellsbury as well should be in a good spot. So I like those calls. J.D. Martinez, a guy I was in the six-pack yesterday, went yard. He's been playing very well, and I think some will ignore him based on his numbers against lefties this season. But if you go back to his early career in Houston and when he was coming up through the minors, he was known as a lefty destroyer. So I think many will be on some of the other options for the Tigers. I think it would be a mistake to overlook him. He may be more popular than I'm guessing just because He hit a home run last night and been playing well, but he's certainly in play for me as well.
And this whole Detroit lineup is in play for
Right.
me. One through 9. Fire them all up in any order. Maybe not Holiday batting 8th catcher, but if you're looking to punt, anyone against Joe Saunders. So line up this whole Detroit lineup if you can. I like all those guys tonight. Davis and Torrey Hunter as well too. A couple other outfield plays if you're looking for cheap. Cole Calhoun, he kind of goes under the radar. He used to be a little cheaper. He's up to 3,200 tonight. But this guy's producing. He's he's getting hits, and with Trout up there, he's getting knocked in. What do you think about him tonight?
Yeah, I mean, I love Trout, obviously, but if you can get a savings like that on Calhoun, I do like him. Again, Pino's a guy, more of a tournament play for me, but I could definitely see the Angels getting to him. So Calhoun's been playing very well, like you said. So we had a question on Billy Hamilton in the chat. I like him as well. Speed, speed, speed. Adds up points in a hurry. If he manages to get on base, they're seeming to bunt him more, which is smart. He can provide 2-3 steals in a night. That's 6 points before he's done anything else. So the price is up on him. It's hard to spend on a 4,500 on Billy Hamilton when you can get a Nelson Cruz and Adam Jones. But I think that makes him a better play in a tournament. I don't think many people will be on him either with that inflated price tag. But he is certainly on the radar. Let's look at cheaper options. We got a couple minutes left. You mentioned the White Sox. I like Adam Eaton tonight. I like De Aza a lot tonight. Those are 2 cheap plays. De Aza starting to play a little bit better. You mentioned the Phillies, so Don Brown should be on the radar as well.
Don Brown is never on your radar. Is on my radar. He's the one Philly not on my radar.
Eventually, he's got to do what he did last year. So
no way.
He's going to come around eventually. So I think people will be sleeping on him, like you just said. Tournament play only, but I do like him tonight. The Tigers bats, I believe Austin Jackson isn't in the lineup, but Rajay Davis. We mentioned Martinez, Torrey Hunter, all guys to target as well. And then a couple Kansas City guys. I gave you Gordon. I also like Lorenzo Cain and Jared Dyson if they're in the lineup.
What do you think about some of the Seattle outfielders tonight? Chavez is 2,200. Jones raked last night. What do you think about some of these Seattle lefties out there tonight?
I think Seattle is one of the sneakiest stacks tonight. I do like them a lot as well. So if those guys are in the lineup, hard to beat their value.
Yeah, so I think we ran through. Wow, we just murdered this in 30 minutes. We flew through this here. I'm on board with you with this Eaton pick. I love all these White Sox versus Baldo tonight. I do want to mention, I kind of like these Angels against the rookie call-up. Josh Hamilton's 3,400 too. I wanted to get him in there. I'm high on a lot of these Angels bats tonight too. Let me check the Twitter machine here. I didn't see none of you guys seem to use this hashtag Grinders Live today, so I don't think I have any questions off of that for you. I wish you guys would have used that. So we'll hit up the chat here and see if we got any questions. And chat, if you guys want to fire some up for a couple minutes, we'll see if we can get those going for you.
Looks like there's an NBA trade. Looks like Tyson Chandler and Felton sent to Dallas. So if you're an NBAer, the trade talks would start swirling around the draft tomorrow.
What is the rest of the trade for that?
I believe it's Dallenberg, Calderon, and Larkin going to the Knicks, and I'm not sure about picks. I'm just kind of seeing it here in the chat.
They're trying to clear some money, but we're about out of time here. Everyone, stay tuned. We got Draft Cheat and Dean on the Draft Street show at 4:30. If you're playing there, stay tuned for that. And even if you're not, they'll give you some good advice, on a bunch of other stuff for the industry. Anything you want to say before we head out of here tonight?
No, best of luck tonight. Thanks for joining us, guys. Appreciate the chat. Always entertaining. Go check out the six-pack. Hopefully we stay rolling. And stay tuned for the next shows. They're going to keep you updated on the lineups and the weather. Some great information coming for the next couple hours.
Yeah, thanks for sticking with us, guys, through the difficulties in the beginning. I'll see you next time I'm on, and we are out of here.